A black man tore a CEO's $20,000 bag. He never knew she'd change his life. Forever. Rashad Coleman was having the worst day of his 31 years. His car had died on the FDR Drive that morning, forcing him to sprint through Manhattan in dress shoes that weren't meant for running. His job interview at Morrison & Associates, a prestigious architectural firm, started in exactly 4 minutes, and he was still 3 blocks away. The leather portfolio containing his designs slapped against his side as he rounded the corner of Park Avenue, his breath coming in gasps, sweat dampening his button-down despite the October chill. Just as he thought he might actually make it, someone stepped directly into his path. The collision was inevitable. Rashad crashed into her full force, sending them both stumbling. His portfolio flew open, scattering architectural drawings across the sidewalk, and her bag, an enormous designer purse he'd later learn was a limited edition Hermes Birkin, caught on a metal newspaper stand, tearing with an audible rip that made passers-by gasp. "Oh my God," Rashad breathed, horrified. "I'm so sorry, I didn't see you." The woman he'd collided with was scrambling to her feet, and Rashad got his first real look at her. She was striking, blonde hair in a sophisticated twist, sharp blue eyes, wearing what was clearly an expensive suit. But what struck him most was the fury blazing across her face as she assessed the damage to her bag. "Do you have any idea what you just did?" she demanded, her voice tight with anger. "This bag costs $20,000. 20! Rashad felt like he'd been punched. $20,000 for a purse. "Look, I'm so sorry. I'll pay for it, I swear." "You'll pay for it?" The woman laughed without humor. $20,000 plus the damage, which will require specialist repair that could cost thousands more. Can you afford that? Rashad looked down at himself, his off-the-rack suit, his worn shoes, his cheap watch. The answer was obvious to both of them. No, but I can work out a payment plan. I'll figure something out." "Of course you will." Her tone dripped with sarcasm. "Let me guess. You don't have insurance. You're late for something important, and you expect me to just let this go because it was an accident?" "I am late for something important. I have a job interview that started 3 minutes ago, and if I don't get there soon, I'm going to lose my chance at the first real architectural job I've had a shot at in 2 years. Then you'd better hope they're understanding about tardiness, because we're not done here." The woman pulled out her phone. "I'm calling the police. This is destruction of property, and I want it documented." "The police?" Rashad's stomach dropped. "Ma'am, please, I'm begging you. I will make this right, but I can't afford to get arrested. I have a record, nothing serious, just, look, please, can we exchange information? I'll give you everything. My address, my phone number, my bank account if you want it. Just please don't call the cops." Something flickered across the woman's face at his mention of a record, but her expression remained hard. "Why should I trust you to actually pay? For all I know, you'll disappear the second I let you go." "Because I'm not a criminal. I'm just—" Rashad gestured helplessly at the scattered drawings on the sidewalk. "I'm just a guy trying to get his life together, and I made a mistake. Please." The woman stared at him for a long moment, her phone still in her hand. People were stopping to watch the confrontation, and Rashad was acutely aware of how this looked. A black man, dressed cheaply, confronted by an obviously wealthy white woman. The crowd's sympathy was clearly with her. Finally, the woman lowered her phone. "Fine. Give me your information. All of it. And if you try to dodge me, I will find you, and I will prosecute. Do you understand?" "Yes. Completely. Thank you." Rashad fumbled for his wallet, pulling out his driver's license, his debit card, even his subway pass. "Here's everything I have. My name is Rashad Coleman. I live in the Bronx." "The Bronx," she repeated, her tone making it clear what she thought of that neighborhood. "Yes, the Bronx." Rashad couldn't quite keep the defensiveness from his voice. "It's where I can afford to live. Look, can I at least help you gather your things? And I really do need to get to my interview. Go." The woman waved him off dismissively. "I have your information. I'll be in touch about repayment." Rashad hesitated, looking at her torn bag, at the expensive contents spilled on the sidewalk. "Are you sure you don't need help?" "I'm perfectly capable of managing. Go to your interview, Mr. Coleman. You're going to need that job." Rashad arrived at Morrison & Associates 17 minutes late, sweating through his shirt and completely rattled. The interview was a disaster. He could barely focus on the questions about his architectural experience, his mind replaying the collision, the torn bag, the $20,000 he somehow had to pay. "Mr. Coleman, are you all right?" The lead architect, a silver-haired man named Jeffrey Morrison, looked concerned. "You seem distracted." "I'm so sorry, sir. There was an incident on the way here. I'm just a bit shaken." "An incident?" Jeffrey's assistant, a young woman named Tessa, leaned forward with interest. "What happened?" Rashad didn't want to explain, but something in their genuine concern made him confess. "I accidentally collided with someone on Park Avenue. I damaged her bag. An expensive bag. Very expensive." "How expensive?" Tessa asked. $20,000. Jeffrey whistled low. "That's quite a bag. Did you get her information?" "She got mine. She's going to contact me about repayment." Rashad ran a hand over his face. "I don't know how I'm going to manage it, but I have to figure something out." "That's an admirable attitude," Jeffrey said thoughtfully. "Mr. Coleman, I'll be honest. This wasn't your strongest interview, but integrity matters in this firm. The fact that you're already thinking about how to make restitution speaks well of your character. Let me discuss this with my partners, and we'll be in touch." It wasn't the enthusiastic response Rashad had hoped for, but it was something. As he left Morrison and Associates, his phone rang, an unknown number. "Hello? Mr. Coleman, this is Ainsley Brennan. We met on Park Avenue this morning." Rather forcefully. "The bag woman." Rashad's stomach clenched. "Yes, Miss Brennan. I'm so sorry again about... We need to meet to discuss repayment. Are you available tomorrow morning? Say 9 a.m.? Yes, I can do that." "Where? Do you know the Carlisle Hotel?" Rashad did. It was one of the most expensive hotels in Manhattan. "Yes. Meet me there, lobby. Don't be late, Mr. Coleman." She hung up before he could respond. "Hello, my Stop Racism family. Thank you for tuning in today. Before we dive deeper into this beautiful love story, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments below. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts. What did you think of the story so far? Do you believe love can truly conquer prejudice? Let us know in the comments. We love reading them. And trust me, your words motivate us to keep making these videos. Let's make this video reach at least 50 comments. Your support means the world to us, and it drives us to create even more meaningful content for you. So don't forget to comment, share, and keep spreading love. Rashad arrived at the Carlisle Hotel 15 minutes early, too nervous to risk being late. The lobby was as intimidating as he'd feared. All marble and gold accents, with guests who looked like they belonged in fashion magazines. He felt acutely aware of his second-hand blazer and the fact that his nicest shoes were still the ones he'd worn yesterday, now scuffed from his sprint. Ainsley Brennan appeared at exactly 9 a.m., and Rashad was struck again by how put together she was. Today she wore a navy suit that probably cost more than his rent, her blonde hair swept back in a ponytail that somehow looked both casual and expensive. She spotted him immediately, her expression unreadable. "Mr. Coleman, thank you for being on time." She gestured toward the hotel's restaurant. "Shall we? We're having breakfast?" "I haven't eaten yet. I assume you haven't either. We can talk while we eat." The restaurant was even more intimidating than the lobby, with white tablecloths and prices that made Rashad's eyes water. When the server brought menus, Ainsley ordered without looking. Eggs Benedict, fresh fruit, coffee. Rashad ordered the cheapest thing he could find, which was still $15 for toast and eggs. "So," Ainsley said once the server left, "let's discuss your debt." "Right. The $20,000. Rashad had spent all night doing calculations. "I can pay you back at $200 a month. It'll take..." He'd done the math countless times. "It'll take over 8 years, but I'll pay every cent. You have my word." Ainsley's expression didn't change. $200 a month for 8 years. That's your proposal. It's all I can afford right now. But once I get the job at Morrison and Associates, if I get it, I might be able to increase the payments. And what if you don't get that job? Then I'll keep looking. I'll figure it out. Ms. Brennan, I know this isn't ideal for you, but I'm trying to do the right thing here. Are you? Ainsley leaned back in her chair, studying him. Or are you just trying to avoid legal consequences? Both, honestly. But mostly I'm trying to make things right because it's the right thing to do. I destroyed something that belonged to you. That's on me. Their food arrived, and Ainsley was quiet while the server arranged their plates. Once they were alone again, she said, "Tell me about yourself, Mr. Coleman." "Tell you about myself? I thought we were here to discuss repayment." "We are, but I want to understand who I'm entering into a financial agreement with. So tell me, where are you from? What's your story?" Rashad didn't want to share his life story with this woman, who clearly thought he was beneath her, but he also didn't have much choice. "I'm from the Bronx, born and raised. My mom is a nurse, works night shifts at Jacoby Medical Center. My dad died when I was 12, construction accident. I went to City College on a partial scholarship, studied architecture, graduated 6 years ago. And since then, I've been working odd jobs. Construction, drafting for small firms, whatever I can find. The architecture market is tough, especially for someone like me." "Someone like you?" Rashad met her eyes. "Someone without connections. Someone who went to a city college instead of an Ivy League school. Someone who—" He paused, deciding to be direct. "Someone who's black and from the Bronx, applying to firms that are 95% white and upper class. You think you've been discriminated against?" "I know I have. I've had interviews where they loved my portfolio until they met me in person. I've had jobs where I was asked to stay in the back because clients might be uncomfortable. And I've been told more than once that I should find firms that are a better cultural fit." Rashad took a breath, reining in his bitterness. "But I keep trying, because I love architecture, and I'm good at it." Ainsley was quiet, her eggs Benedict untouched. "You mentioned having a record earlier. What for?" "Trespassing when I was 19. I was sketching an abandoned building for a class project, and the property owner called the cops. It's been expunged, but it shows up sometimes on background checks. People make assumptions. And what assumptions do you think I'm making about you right now?" Rashad chose his words carefully. "I think you see a black guy from the Bronx who destroyed your expensive bag and probably can't pay you back. I think you're wondering if this was some kind of scam, or if I'm going to try to get out of paying. And I think you're debating whether to just sue me and write off the loss." "You're half right." Ainsley finally picked up her fork. "I do wonder if you can actually pay me back. But I don't think it was a scam, and I'm not planning to sue you. I'm planning something else entirely." "What?" "I'm going to offer you a job." Rashad was sure he'd misheard. "A job? You're offering me a job?" "Yes, I'm the CEO of Brennan Development, a real estate and property development firm. We need architectural talent, and you clearly need money. I'm proposing you work for my company to pay off your debt." "Work for you? Doing what?" "Architecture. What you're trained for. We have several projects in development that need design work. You'd work directly under our lead architect, Montgomery Kane. If your work is satisfactory, you'd earn a salary that would allow you to pay off your debt within 2 years instead of 8. Rashad stared at her. "Why would you do this? You don't know me. You don't know if I'm any good. I looked you up after yesterday. Found your portfolio online. Your work is impressive, creative but practical, with attention to both form and function. And before you ask, yes, I also ran a background check. Trespassing at 19 for an architecture project. That's it. No violence, no theft, no pattern of irresponsibility. So, yes, Mr. Coleman, I'm offering you a job. There has to be a catch. The catch is that you'll be working to pay off a debt. Your salary will be market rate for a junior architect, but a portion will automatically go toward repayment. You'll sign a contract committing to at least 2 years with the firm. And," she paused, "you'll have to deal with working for me, which some people find challenging." "Challenging how?" "I have high standards. I don't accept mediocre work, and I don't care about sob stories or excuses. You deliver quality or you're gone. Do you think you can handle that?" Rashad's mind was racing. This was suspicious on every level. Wealthy white CEO offers job to black stranger she just met? It sounded like the setup to something terrible, but it was also the best offer he'd had in years. "Can I think about it?" "No, I need an answer now. I have other candidates I'm considering, and I can't wait for you to agonize over whether to trust me. Take the job, work hard, pay off your debt, and potentially build a real career. Or don't, and we'll figure out some other repayment arrangement. What's it going to be?" Rashad took a leap of faith. "I'll take the job." "Good. Be at my office Monday morning, 8 a.m. sharp. Brennan Development, 42nd and Madison. Don't be late." Ainsley stood, leaving a $50 bill on the table. Breakfast is on me. Consider it a signing bonus. Monday morning, Rashad arrived at Brennan Development at 7:45 a.m., determined not to give Ainsley any reason to regret hiring him. The building was modern glass and steel, with the firm's name in elegant letters above the entrance. He announced himself to reception, a friendly woman named Celeste, who directed him to the 4th floor. "You're the new architect? Ainsley's personal hire?" Celeste's eyes held curiosity, but also something else. Warning? "Good luck. She's tough but fair. Just don't take it personally when she tears apart your work." "That's encouraging. Montgomery will help you settle in. He's the lead architect, been here 8 years. If anyone can navigate Ainsley's expectations, it's him." Montgomery Kane turned out to be a black man in his late 40s, with silver-streaked hair and an easy smile that put Rashad immediately at ease. "So, you're the guy who destroyed Ainsley's bag. That story's already made the rounds." "That's me. Rashad Coleman. Please tell me working here isn't as terrifying as everyone's making it sound." "It's not terrifying. It's demanding. Ainsley built this firm from nothing over the past 12 years. She's brilliant, driven, and has zero patience for half-assed work. But she's also fair, and she gives credit where it's due. Respect her standards, deliver quality, and you'll do fine." Montgomery led him through the open-plan office, introducing him to the team. There was Harper Chen, a young designer fresh out of Cornell; Lena Rodriguez, an experienced architect who'd left a large firm to work at Brennan Development because she appreciated Ainsley's vision; Tyson Gray, a project manager with a wicked sense of humor; and several others who all seemed talented and surprisingly normal. "Where's Ainsley?" Rashad asked, noticing her conspicuous absence. "Client meeting uptown. She trusts me to get you started. Let's look at your portfolio, see what you're capable of, and figure out where you fit." They spent the morning reviewing Rashad's previous work. Montgomery was encouraging, but also honest about weaknesses. Compositions that needed refinement, structural elements that weren't quite practical. By lunch, they'd assigned Rashad his first project, a mixed-use development in Brooklyn that needed design proposals for the residential units. "Start with concepts," Montgomery instructed. 3 different approaches: luxury, mid-market, and affordable. Ainsley wants options. She'll review them Friday. Rashad threw himself into the work, and for the first time in years, he felt like he was doing what he was meant to do. The other architects were generous with advice, and by Wednesday, he had preliminary concepts for all 3 approaches. That's when Ainsley appeared. She walked through the office like she owned it, which she did, pausing at each architect's desk, offering brief comments or questions before moving on. When she reached Rashad, he straightened automatically. "Mr. Coleman? Settling in?" "Yes, ma'am. Working on the Brooklyn residential project." "Show me." Rashad pulled up his concepts on his computer, his heart pounding. Ainsley leaned over his shoulder, studying each design in silence. The seconds stretched into minutes. Finally, she straightened. "The luxury concept is too generic. Everyone's doing floor-to-ceiling windows and open plans. What makes this special? The mid-market is better. I like the privacy considerations and the modular design. The affordable is your strongest work. You've actually thought about how people live, not just how the space looks. Refine all 3, but especially push the luxury concept. I need something innovative, not just expensive." "Yes, ma'am. I'll revise them." "And Coleman?" Ainsley was already walking away. "Stop calling me ma'am. It's Ainsley or Miss Brennan. Pick one." Harper caught Rashad's eye after Ainsley left, giving him a thumbs up. She didn't hate it. That's actually high praise. That was high praise? She basically said my luxury concept was generic. She also said your affordable concept showed you understood how people live. From Ainsley, that's practically a love letter. Trust me, you're doing fine. Over the next 3 weeks, Rashad settled into a rhythm at Brennan Development. The work was challenging, but satisfying. The team was supportive, and Montgomery was an excellent mentor. He revised the Brooklyn residential concepts 4 times before Ainsley approved them, and each revision taught him something new about design thinking. He also started to understand Ainsley better. She wasn't just demanding. She was passionate about creating spaces that worked for real people. In team meetings, she pushed back against designs that were just aesthetically pleasing but impractical. She advocated for green building practices, even when they cost more, and she had an uncanny ability to identify the one weak element in any design. "She terrifies me," Harper admitted during lunch one day, "but I also respect her more than any other architect I've worked for. She cares about what we build, not just the profits." "Did she really build this firm from nothing?" Rashad asked. "Completely from nothing. Started with a small inheritance from her grandmother. Used it to renovate a single brownstone in Park Slope. Sold it for double, reinvested. Built her reputation project by project. Now Brennan Development is one of the most respected firms in the city." Lena took a sip of coffee. "She's also faced incredible sexism. The industry's still male-dominated, especially at the executive level. She's had to fight for every inch of respect." "I didn't realize. Most people don't. They just see a successful white woman and assume she had it easy." But Ainsley earned every bit of her success. That evening, Rashad was working late on a new project, an office renovation, in Soho, when he realized he was alone in the office, except for one light still on in Ainsley's private office. He debated whether to just leave, but curiosity got the better of him. He knocked on her door frame. "Ms. Brennan, do you need anything before I head out?" Ainsley looked up from her computer, and Rashad noticed the fatigue in her face. "Coleman, you're still here. Finishing up the Soho concepts. I wanted to get them to Montgomery for review tomorrow. Let me see them." Rashad pulled up the designs on his laptop, bringing it over to her desk. Ainsley studied them, asking questions about materials and structural consideration. Her questions were sharp but not critical. She seemed genuinely interested in his thought process. "These are good," she said finally. "Better than good. You're improving quickly." "Thank you. I'm learning a lot here." "From Montgomery, you mean?" "From Montgomery, yes, but also from you." Rashad surprised himself with his honesty. "The way you push back on impractical designs, the way you think about end users, it's changing how I approach projects." Ainsley seemed caught off guard by the compliment. Thank you. Not many people appreciate my methods. Maybe they should." They were quiet for a moment, and Rashad noticed details he'd missed before. Photos on her desk, one of an older couple, probably her parents, another of her with a black lab, a small plant that looked like it needed water. "Your plant is dying," he observed. "What?" "That's succulent. It needs water. They're low maintenance, but not no maintenance." Ainsley looked at the plant like she'd forgotten it existed. "I don't have much success with living things. Do you want me to water it? I could take care of the office plants if you'd like. I used to help my mom with her garden." "You'd water my plants? Why not? It's not like it's difficult. And it seems sad, letting them die when they'd thrive with minimal attention." Ainsley studied him with an expression Rashad couldn't quite read. "That's very kind of you. Yes, if you're willing, I'd appreciate that." "No problem." Rashad started to leave, then turned back. "Can I ask you something? Why did you really hire me? And don't say it was just about paying off the debt. You could have set up a payment plan. You didn't need to give me a job." Ainsley was quiet for a long moment. "Honestly, I saw potential. In your portfolio, yes, but also in how you handled the collision. Most people in your situation would have run or lied or made excuses. You stayed, you took responsibility, and you immediately started thinking about how to make it right. That's rare. So you hired me for my character, not my architecture?" "I hired you for both. But Coleman, I also hired you because I believe the architecture industry needs more people like you. People who didn't grow up privileged, who understand what it's like to struggle, who care about building spaces for real people, not just wealthy clients. The field's too homogeneous. It needs fresh perspectives. That's surprisingly idealistic for a CEO. Don't let it get around. I have a reputation to maintain." But Ainsley was almost smiling. "Now go home. It's late, and tomorrow we're presenting the Brooklyn project to the client. I need you sharp." As Rashad left, he realized something had shifted between them. She wasn't just his boss anymore. She was becoming something else. Something he didn't have a name for yet, but something that felt important. The Brooklyn project presentation went brilliantly. The clients loved Rashad's affordable housing concepts, and Ainsley gave him credit in front of everyone. "This is the work of our newest architect, Rashad Coleman. He's proving to be an invaluable addition to our team." After the meeting, Montgomery pulled him aside. That was impressive. Ainsley doesn't hand out compliments lightly, especially in front of clients. I just did the work. You did excellent work. And Rashad, I want to talk to you about something. Ainsley's been different lately. Lighter, somehow. More engaged with the team. I've worked here 8 years, and I've never seen her quite like this. What does that have to do with me? Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. Just be careful. Ainsley's a good person, but she's also your boss. Lines can get blurry in this business, especially when you're working closely together. Rashad felt heat rise to his face. We're not. Montgomery, it's not like that. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying be aware of the potential complications, for both your sakes. But Montgomery was right. Something was developing between Rashad and Ainsley, and it was getting harder to ignore. They'd fallen into a pattern of late-night conversations in the office. Ainsley would review his work, they'd discuss designs, and somehow their talks would drift into personal territory. He learned she'd grown up in Connecticut, daughter of a real estate attorney father and a mother who'd taught literature at Yale. She'd been expected to follow her father into law, but fell in love with architecture after an internship at a design firm the summer before college. My father was furious, Ainsley told him one evening. Said architecture was for dreamers and idealists, not serious people. He wanted me in corporate law, making partner at his firm. But you chose architecture anyway. I chose what I loved. It cost me my relationship with my father for years. We've reconciled now, but those early years were difficult. Building this firm was my way of proving I'd made the right choice. Do you think you did? Prove it? Most days. But there's a loneliness to this life. I've sacrificed relationships, social life, any sense of normalcy. Sometimes I wonder what I'm building this empire for, if I don't have anyone to share it with. The vulnerability in her voice made Rashad's heart ache. You have people. Your team respects you. Montgomery clearly cares about you. That's professional respect. It's not the same as... Ainsley stopped herself. Never mind. I'm being maudlin. Tell me about your family. Your mother. You said she's a nurse? Rashad talked about his mom, Gloria. Her strength, her sacrifice, her determination that he finish college, even when money was tight. About how proud she'd been when he graduated, how devastated he'd been when years passed without finding meaningful work. She keeps telling me to be patient, that the right opportunity will come. I think she'd like you, actually. Me? Why would your mother like me? Because you gave me a chance when no one else would. Because you see potential, not just credentials. Because... Rashad stopped, aware he was saying too much, revealing too much. Because what? Because you're a good person pretending to be all business. But I see you, Ainsley. The way you fight for affordable housing in our developments, even when it cuts into profits. The way you make sure Harper gets home safe when she works late. The way you've been watering your own plants since I mentioned they needed attention. You care, even though you pretend you don't. Ainsley's cheeks flushed, the first time Rashad had seen her rattled. I should go. It's late. Ainsley, wait. I'll see you tomorrow, Coleman. Good work on the Soho project. She left quickly, and Rashad cursed himself. He'd crossed a line, gotten too personal. Montgomery was right. This was getting complicated. How's this story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments. If you're loving it, type 1. If not, type 0. We want to know what you think. The tension between Rashad and Ainsley became obvious to everyone. They were professionally polite, but personally distant. Team meetings were awkward, with both of them avoiding eye contact. Montgomery watched with concern, Harper with curiosity, and Lena with knowing looks. Finally, Tyson, the project manager, cornered Rashad in the break room. Whatever's going on with you and Ainsley, fix it. It's affecting the whole team. We work on collaborative projects. We need you two to actually collaborate. Nothing's going on. We're fine. You're not fine. You're both miserable and trying to hide it. Look, I don't know what happened, and I don't need to know. But you need to talk to her. Actually talk, not just exchange professional pleasantries. Rashad knew Tyson was right. That evening, he waited until the office was empty, except for Ainsley's light. He knocked on her door. Come in. We need to talk. Ainsley looked up from her computer, her expression carefully neutral. About what? About the fact that we've been avoiding each other for 2 weeks. about the fact that I clearly said something that made you uncomfortable, and I need to understand what so we can move past it. There's nothing to move past. We're colleagues. We should maintain professional boundaries. Is that what we are? Just colleagues? Rashad closed the door behind him, taking a risk. Because, Ainsley, I don't stay late talking with Montgomery about his childhood. I don't share personal details with Harper. And I definitely don't spend my evenings thinking about Lena. So, if we're just colleagues, why does it feel like more? It can't be more. I'm your boss. You work for me to pay off a debt. Any relationship beyond professional would be inappropriate, possibly exploitative. You're not exploiting me. And I'm not some helpless employee who can't make my own decisions. I'm a grown man who's capable of understanding his own feelings. And my feelings. Rashad took a breath. My feelings are that I'm falling for you, Ainsley. Have been for weeks, and I think you feel something too. It doesn't matter what I feel. It's the only thing that matters. Rashad moved closer. Ainsley, I know this is complicated. I know there are about 100 reasons why this is a terrible idea. But I also know that I've never felt this way about anyone. You make me want to be better, work harder, aim higher. You see me, really see me. Not just as an employee or someone you're helping out of obligation. You see Rashad, the person, and I see you. Not the CEO, not the boss, but Ainsley, the woman who cares deeply but pretends she doesn't, who builds beautiful things but forgets to water her plants, who's lonely despite being surrounded by people. Ainsley's eyes were bright with unshed tears. Even if I wanted to pursue this, which I'm not saying I do, it would be a disaster. The optics alone, a wealthy white CEO with her black employee, people would assume I'm exploiting you. They'd say you're only with me for job security or money. The racial dynamics would overshadow everything. Let them talk. Ainsley, I've dealt with racism my entire life. I've been underestimated, stereotyped, discriminated against. I'm not afraid of what people think about us. The question is, are you? Yes, Ainsley whispered. I'm terrified, not of what people think of me, but of what they'd say about you. You've worked so hard to build your career, to be taken seriously. Being with me could destroy that. People might assume you slept your way into this job, that you're using me. I can't do that to you. That's my decision to make. And Ainsley, I'd rather face judgment with you than hide what we feel to appease other people's prejudices. You say that now, but you don't know what it's like. The constant scrutiny, the whispers, the assumptions. I've dated outside my social circle before. It destroyed relationships because the pressure was too much. I'm not your ex-boyfriends. I'm stronger than you think, and I'm not going anywhere. Ainsley stood, moving to the window overlooking the city. There's something I need to tell you about why I really hired you, beyond just seeing your potential. Okay, when you collided with me that day, when you begged me not to call, the police because you had a record and couldn't afford to get arrested, something broke open inside me. Because I realized that while my worst problem that day was a torn bag, yours was the threat of losing everything because of one mistake. The privilege gap between us was so vast, and I'd never really confronted it before. I don't understand. You hired me out of guilt? No, not guilt. Recognition. Recognition that I live in a world where a $20,000 bag is replaceable. But you live in a world where a police encounter could derail your entire life. And I realized that I'd been complicit in that system, benefiting from it without examining it. Hiring you was partially about seeing your potential, yes, but it was also about trying to do something meaningful with my privilege, to create opportunities instead of just hoarding resources. So, this whole thing has been a social justice project? No, that's not. Ainsley turned to face him. I hired you for all those reasons. Yes, but what I feel now, that's real. That's not about guilt or privilege or trying to be a good person. That's just, her voice broke. That's just me falling for someone I never expected to meet. Someone who makes me want to be better. Someone who sees past all my defenses to who I really am. And I'm terrified because I don't know how to navigate this. I don't know how to be with you without hurting you or myself or both of us. Rashad crossed the room, taking her hands. Then we figure it out together. One day at a time. One choice at a time. Ainsley, I'm not asking for perfect. I'm asking for real. And what I feel for you is the most real thing I've experienced in years. If we do this, It changes everything. Our working relationship, our professional dynamic, how we're perceived. I know, and I don't care. Because Ainsley, you've already changed my life. You gave me a career, a purpose, a chance to build something meaningful. But more than that, you gave me hope. Hope that I could be seen for who I am, not just where I came from or how I look. You did that, and I want... Rashad moved closer. I want to be with you, if you'll have me. Ainsley was crying now, but she was also smiling. This is crazy. Completely insane. People will judge us. Let them. It might not work. Or it might be everything. Ainsley, are you really going to let fear stop us from trying? She kissed him then, and it was an answer more powerful than words. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard, both smiling, both terrified and exhilarated simultaneously. We're doing this, Ainsley said. We're actually doing this. We are. And Ainsley, it's going to be worth it. Every complication, every judgment, every obstacle. Being with you is worth all of it. Going public with their relationship was even harder than Rashad expected. The office gossip started within days. Whispers about favoritism, inappropriate relationships, speculation about how long they'd actually been together. Harper and Lena were supportive, but others were less kind. I heard he's only here because they're dating. Rashad overheard one of the junior designers, a guy named Brett, telling a colleague. Ainsley hired him as her boyfriend, not for his skills. That's not true, Rashad interrupted, stepping into the conversation. I got hired because I tore her bag and owed her money. We started dating months later, after I'd already proven myself professionally. Sure, Brett said skeptically. Whatever helps you sleep at night. Montgomery pulled Rashad aside after the confrontation. That's going to keep happening. People are going to question your qualifications, your relationship, everything. You need to develop thick skin. I'm tired of developing thick skin. I'm tired of constantly proving I deserve to be places, constantly fighting against assumptions. When does it end? When you stop caring what they think. Rashad, your work speaks for itself. The Brooklyn project was excellent. The Soho renovation was brilliant. You've earned your place here. Don't let insecure people make you doubt that. But the judgment wasn't just internal. When Ainsley and Rashad attended a real estate industry gala together, the stares and whispers were suffocating. People looked at them with everything from curiosity to contempt. And more than once, Rashad overheard comments about diversity hires and trophy boyfriends. I'm sorry, Ainsley whispered as they stood at the bar. I didn't think it would be this bad. It's not your fault people are racist and classist. But Ainsley, how long do we have to endure this? How long before people just accept us? I don't know. But Rashad, if this is too much, don't. Don't suggest we end this because other people are uncomfortable. I meant what I said. I'm not going anywhere. But I am going to need your support when I confront this directly. What do you mean? Rashad approached a group of developers who'd been openly staring. Gentlemen, I'm Rashad Coleman, Ainsley's boyfriend and an architect at Brennan Development. If you have questions about our relationship, I'm happy to answer them directly instead of you whispering behind our backs. The men looked uncomfortable. One, a silver-haired executive named Lawrence, cleared his throat. We're just surprised. Ainsley's been notoriously private. This is unexpected. Unexpected because I'm black? Or because I work for her? Both, honestly. The power dynamic is concerning. And yes, the racial element is notable. The power dynamic would be concerning if she were exploiting me. She's not. I'm here because I want to be, because I care about her. As for the racial element, that's only notable if you're uncomfortable with interracial relationships. It's not about discomfort, another man interjected. It's about optics. Ainsley's a prominent figure. Her choices reflect on the industry. Then maybe the industry needs to examine why it's so uncomfortable with a black man dating a white woman. Because from where I stand, the only problem here is your problem with it. Ainsley joined them, her hand finding Rashad's. Lawrence, Marcus, good to see you both. I hope you're enjoying the event. And I hope you'll respect both my relationship and my boyfriend enough to keep your opinions to yourself. She led Rashad away, and once they were alone, she kissed him. That was brave. That was terrifying. But I'm done being polite about other people's racism. Good. Because I'm done apologizing for loving you. The real test came 6 months into their relationship, when a local business magazine ran a feature on Ainsley and Brennan development. The article was mostly positive, highlighting her success and innovative projects. But it also mentioned her relationship with Rashad, and the comments section exploded with racist, classist garbage. She's clearly going through a phase. Another rich white woman with a black boyfriend for the optics. Poor guy probably thinks she actually loves him. Interracial relationships are destroying both communities. Rashad tried to ignore the comments, but they ate at him. His own mother called, having seen the article. "Baby, are you okay? I saw what people are saying online." "I'm fine, Mom. People are they're ignorant." "Are you sure this woman is worth all this hate? I know you care about her, but Rashad, you're getting attacked. Your name, your reputation, it's all being dragged through the mud." "Mom, I love her. She's worth it. Even if it costs you professionally, even if it affects how other firms see you. Because, baby, you're being labeled now. The black architect who dated his white boss, that's going to follow you." Rashad hadn't considered that. What if things didn't work out with Ainsley? Would he be able to find another job, or would this relationship define him forever? That evening, he raised his concerns with Ainsley. "My mom's worried this is going to hurt my career long term, and she might be right. If we break up, I'm the black guy who dated his rich white boss. That's not a great reputation to have in this industry. We're not going to break up. You don't know that. Ainsley, relationships end. And when ours does, if it does, I need to know I'll still have a career." "So what are you saying? You want to end things now to protect your reputation?" "I'm saying I'm scared. Scared of losing you, scared of losing my career, scared of being defined by this relationship for the rest of my life." Ainsley sat down heavily. "I'm scared too. But Rashad, I can't promise this will last forever. I can only promise that while we're together, I'll fight for it. And if we do break up someday, I'll make sure you're protected professionally. You'll get excellent references, connections to other firms, everything you need to succeed independently." "That sounds like you're planning our breakup." "I'm planning for every possibility, because I love you and I want you to be okay regardless of what happens to us." "Do you actually think we'll last? Or is this just—" Rashad struggled for words. "Is this just a phase for you? The rebellious CEO dating outside her social circle? How can you ask that? After everything we've been through, everything we've shared, how can you question whether this is real for me?" "Because I've read the comments too, Ainsley. The ones saying you're slumming, or experimenting, or trying to prove you're progressive. And sometimes, late at night, I wonder if they're right." Ainsley stood, anger flashing across her face. "If that's what you think of me, of us, then maybe we should end this. Because I can't be with someone who thinks I'm capable of using them like that. I don't think that—" "Yes, you do. You just said it. You think this might be a phase. You think I might not be serious. Rashad, I love you. I've torn apart my professional reputation, faced constant scrutiny, and endured countless judgments because I love you. How is that not enough? Because love isn't always enough. Love doesn't protect me from being labeled. Love doesn't erase the power imbalance between us. Love doesn't change the fact that I'm a black man from the Bronx who works for his wealthy white girlfriend. And that's all some people will ever see." They were both crying now, the weight of months of pressure finally cracking their resolve. "So what do you want?" Ainsley asked. "Do you want to end this? Go back to being just colleagues? Pretend this never happened?" "No. God, no. I want—" Rashad pulled her close. "I want to stop being scared. I want to stop caring what other people think. I want to just be with you without all this noise." "Then let's do that. Let's ignore the comments, the stares, the judgments. Let's just be Ainsley and Rashad, two people who love each other, trying to build something real. Can we do that?" "I want to. But Ainsley, I need you to promise me something. Anything. Promise that if you ever stop loving me, you'll tell me honestly. Don't stay with me out of guilt or obligation or because you don't want to seem racist. Promise you'll be honest. I promise. And Rashad, I need the same promise from you. If you ever feel like I'm using you, or like our relationship is more about what I can give you than who we are together, promise you'll tell me. I promise." They held each other in the darkness of her apartment, and Rashad felt something settle inside him. This wasn't perfect. It probably never would be, but it was real, and it was theirs, and that was enough. The turning point came during Brennan Development's annual gala, a fundraiser for affordable housing initiatives. Ainsley had insisted on making a speech, and Rashad sat in the audience, surrounded by the firm's employees and clients. 5 years ago, I started Brennan Development with a simple mission: create beautiful, functional spaces that serve real people, not just wealthy clients. That mission has guided every decision, every project, every hire. Ainsley's eyes found Rashad in the crowd. 8 months ago, I made a hiring decision that challenged me in ways I didn't expect. I hired Rashad Coleman, a talented architect who'd been overlooked by this industry because he didn't fit the typical profile. He was black, from the Bronx, educated at a city college instead of an Ivy League school. And he was brilliant. The room was silent, everyone listening intently. Hiring Rashad forced me to examine my own privilege, my own assumptions about who deserves opportunities and why. It also led to the most important relationship of my life. Yes, I'm dating my employee. Yes, we're an interracial couple. Yes, we face constant judgment and scrutiny. But you know what else we are? We're two people who see each other, truly see each other, and choose to build something meaningful together. Ainsley paused, gathering herself. This industry has a diversity problem. We know this. But diversity isn't just about hiring people who look different. It's about valuing different perspectives, different experiences, different ways of seeing the world. Rashad has made me a better architect and a better person because he's challenged my assumptions, pushed me to think differently, and reminded me why I do this work. She looked directly at Rashad. So, to anyone who questions whether our relationship is appropriate or professional or whatever concerns you have, ask yourselves why you're uncomfortable. Ask if it's really about us, or if it's about your own prejudices. Because I'm done apologizing for loving someone extraordinary, and I'm done pretending our relationship is somehow wrong when it's the rightest thing in my life. The room erupted in applause. Not everyone, but enough people that Rashad felt tears building. After the speech, Montgomery approached him. That was powerful. Ainsley's never been that vulnerable publicly. She's braver than I gave her credit for. So are you, Rashad. You've changed this firm, not just through your work, though that's been excellent, but by being here, by being yourself. You've forced all of us to examine our assumptions about who belongs in this industry. That matters. Later that night, alone in Ainsley's apartment, Rashad pulled her close. Thank you for what you said tonight. I meant every word. I'm tired of hiding, tired of apologizing. You're the best thing that's happened to me, Rashad. Why should I be ashamed of that? You shouldn't. And Ainsley, I'm sorry for doubting us, for letting fear make me question what we have. Fear is natural. God knows I'm terrified half the time. But I'd rather be terrified with you than safe without you. I love you. I don't say it enough, but I love you completely. I love you too. My bag-destroying, plant-watering, brilliant, stubborn, beautiful man. Rashad laughed. I can't believe this all started because I tore your $20,000 bag. Best $20,000 I never spent. Because hiring you, getting to know you, falling for you, it's changed my life in ways I never expected. You've made me better, Rashad. Made me see beyond my privilege, made me question comfortable assumptions, made me want to be worthy of your faith in me. You are worthy. You always have been. They kissed, and it felt like the first time and the 100th time simultaneously. Familiar and exciting, comfortable and thrilling. What happens now? Rashad asked. Now we keep building. Our careers, our relationship, our life together. One day at a time, one project at a time, one choice at a time. Sounds perfect. Rashad stood in the lobby of the newly completed Coleman Brennan Community Center in the Bronx, watching neighborhood kids explore the state-of-the-art facility. The project had been his and Ainsley's joint effort, a community space that included affordable housing, an art center, a library, and recreational facilities. Your mom would be proud, Ainsley said, appearing beside him. They'd gotten engaged 6 months ago, and the wedding was planned for spring. This is beautiful, Rashad. We did it together, you and me and the team, but it started with your vision. Your understanding of what this community needed because you're from here, because you lived it. Rashad watched his mother giving a tour to some community members, her pride evident in every gesture. She'd come around completely to Ainsley, treating her like the daughter she'd never had. 2 years ago, I tore your bag and thought my life was over, Rashad mused. Now I'm here with you, having built something meaningful. It's surreal. Life is strange like that. The worst moments sometimes lead to the best outcomes. Do you ever regret how we met? How complicated it's been? Never. You've challenged me, changed me, made me better in every way. And yes, it's been complicated. The judgment hasn't completely stopped. The racial dynamics still exist. The power imbalance questions still come up. But Rashad, loving you is worth every complication. Even the comments from your father's country club, especially those. Let them clutch their pearls. I found the person who sees me, really sees me, and who loves me anyway. That's rare, and it's valuable, and I'm not giving it up to make some racist old men comfortable. Rashad kissed her, not caring who saw. I love you, Ainsley Brennan. Thank you for taking a chance on the guy who destroyed your bag. I love you too. And Rashad, that bag was insured. I never actually lost the $20,000. What? The bag was insured. I got the full amount back within a week. So really, you didn't owe me anything. I could have just let you go that day.